Hello good people, Steve Lockhart here again. Now today's review I want to look at lower back pain, and I've chosen a popular video from Jeff Cavalier, who's a physical therapist, and it's called How to Fix Lower Back Pain Instantly. So it has a really catchy title, and I think if you're a lower back pain sufferer, you'd be drawn into this. So actually, when the video gets going, pretty well in the very early stages, Jeff does clarify that he is talking about lower back pain in a specific point of the body, which is high up in the pelvic area where the glute medius muscles sit. And he even does make the point then that it's not really lower back pain. And I think most people that have lower back pain would tend to suffer with it in the lower lumbar area, whether it's right across the lower back or on one side more than the other, and even going down into the hip a little bit. But Jeff covers his video on that glute medius muscles more specifically. And he has a few good things in there, from my opinion, that you should try. One of them being that a testing procedure to determine whether your weight is evenly balanced or evenly distributed through your legs. And he gets you to stand on one leg and then lift the other knee, and it depends on how much you have to lean your body to the side to actually balance that weight. And it's a very good thing for any back pain sufferer to do, because it is very important on how you're distributing the weight through your hips and legs. My approach is a little bit different to physical therapists' approach. The physical therapists or physiotherapists, they tend to target a specific area of the body, and especially around where you feel the pain, as Jeff's done. Whereas I look at the body more as one complete system, and I look at the whole structure. And I see lower back pain, or most back pain anyway, as about the way load is being carried on your spine or on your lower back. So it's very important how the weight is being distributed down through your body. And Jeff's technique for testing that is a really good one, because if you find out that you are not carrying your weight evenly through your pelvis and legs, then that is priority number one to fix. And you could even try Jeff's technique to see if that corrects that problem for you, because if you can correct the way you carry your load and you can even it up, then you're going to get a better result with any targeted area that you work on the lower back. So the technique Jeff uses to do that might be a little bit challenging I know it would be for a lot of the older patients that I see. I tend to see a lot of people who have had chronic back pain and have carried it for a long period of time. So the procedure where he gets the person to lie on their side and to use their own thumb to trigger point the glute medius muscle and then move their legs through a different range of movement where that muscle is being activated. So it's almost like you're holding the pressure to stop that muscle working, but you are making it work with the exercise. And that's a really good technique for releasing any muscle spasm or contraction. So he activates the glute medius that way, and then he goes on to doing some other exercises to build up some strength and movement in there. The one thing that I would add to that technique that he hasn't mentioned until later in the video is that it's really important to do any exercise or any technique on both sides of your body. So in the demonstration, he just shows it on one side and then he moves you into another exercise or routine. And it's not clear that you should turn over and do the other side at the same time. And I really, encourage that with all my people. Even though you might have the problem on one side, invariably I find that where you feel pain in the body, it's being referred. And so you must always work on both sides of your body at the same time. It's all about bringing back that good posture and symmetry. And what he's suggesting, where the glute medius muscles get into contraction or spasm, that would come because they're being overloaded. whether it be when the person's doing a weights exercise or some sort of training, that other parts of their body are not carrying their share of the load, and so they're dumping too much load on those muscles and causing them to overload and contract and then stay that way. That's a very good possibility when you have that pain in that area, but always do both sides anyway. Now, as far as trigger pointing that muscle with your thumb and holding that pressure firmly while you do that movement of the leg exercise, that would be challenging for people that don't have a reasonable amount of strength in their hands and thumbs, and you might need to try and find another way of getting that pressure on there. Like, you could have a partner or somebody to apply like a double thumb pressure there for you, and they'll get a bit more strength and leverage leaning down on it. Or they might even hold a golf ball and push that onto the muscle to give it a little bit of pressure that you can then go through that exercise routine. That would be a challenge that I would see of people having that strong thumb. Then he moves on to another exercise which is designed to load your hips and move them in a correct position. So really to get that muscle that you've now released activated and moving well. And he uses the strap and the kettlebell. That might be challenging for people that don't have access to a gym or don't have that sort of equipment at home, some sort of decent weight to hang on your hips. Personally, I tend to try and get people in the water, so I will reactivate some problem muscles and then I'll get them in the water and use the water resistance to get those muscles working. You're not going to get a lot of strength from the water. You'll certainly get tone back into your muscles, and you'll get the muscles working again. Sometimes I find that if a muscle's been in trouble for a long period of time and you try and exercise it with a load on it, it can be too much, especially in the early stages. So using the water where you're taking away that load or gravity factor can be very useful to actually bring tone and function back into the muscles, and then maybe moving on to something like Pilates or some sort of targeted exercise program. I'm sure with Jeff and his people, he would have them in his gym and doing targeted exercises that way, which would be fine. But if you do a Pilates program, it might be a little bit more affordable. Or if you know what you're doing in the gym and you know how to target different muscles, taking it slow and building it up slowly, before you try and put too much load on those muscles, is the best way to bring them back. So Jeff does the activation of those glute medius muscles, and then he works them with some load and movement to build them back up and to get them functioning properly again. So my approach would be a little bit different, because I'd be looking at maybe what other areas of the body were causing those glute medius muscles to overload in the first place. And I'm not saying Jeff doesn't take this into account in his normal process, but in the video he doesn't really make that overly clear. So that's something you will need to consider. The holistic approach, the full body approach, is something I cover pretty thoroughly on my website. It's really my main approach to pain. I see back problems as a problem with load. How's your back and hips carrying the load of your upper body, in the weight of your body, the gravity factor? All of that can build up, and if the load's not being carried correctly, then your body tends to compensate by tightening certain areas to try and hold the posture as well as it can. And then in the process of that, over a period of time, or if you're training, running around and doing some sort of physical exercises with that imbalance or that poor posture, then of course you start overloading key muscles, causing them to go into spasm and creating these pain scenarios. So it's quite a long story, and I don't think anyone can cover it quickly in a little video. So if you want a better picture, I do give away a free book on my website that tries to explain the whole thing. And the holistic approach that I take, also incorporates things like diet and self-treatment techniques and exercise, which I believe is the way forward with getting yourself out of a back problem long term and keeping it away. So it can be very hard to find somebody that takes maybe that full holistic approach rather than just targeting one thing, and then you have to go and find another therapist to target the next and another therapist to target the next. So if you think of it in a more with a more holistic approach, you might have to adjust some of your lifestyle factors and things to support what you're doing on the therapy side, and it's well worth it in the long run. So in summary then, I think you'll get some good information out of Jeff's video, and as far as targeting those glute medius muscle, if that's where your problem lies, and certainly the exercises he does to test how your load's being distributed is very well worth watching and doing. And then if you're capable of doing the exercises that he shows you to be able to correct that problem, well, go ahead and do those, because I'm sure you'll get some good relief from that. Whether it lasts forever, I don't know about that, because if the load is wrong in your body, it could be coming from your shoulders, from a leg, or many other areas. So if the load is wrong, you will tend to get the pain recurring, and it's an indication that you have to look a bit further afar, but certainly worth going through what he explains. So the next thing I'm going to cover today is my tip or self-treatment technique that's going to help you with your lower back pain. It's designed to work on the erector spinae muscles, which are the muscles that run from the neck all the way down to the lower back and support the spine. And as the name suggests, the erector spinae muscles, they erect your spine. So they're the ones that help you stand upright, nice and straight and tall. And if that's a problem you have with your back pain, where you sit down for a while and then you go to get up and it's really hard for you to straighten up when you're coming out of a sitting position, then it's a good indication that you need some work on your erector spinae muscles, and this technique will work really well for that. There's lots of ways to self-treat the body, but some of the areas have more of an effect than others, and so I recommend you go to the video. I've got the link showing up on my screen here, so go to that video, and I will ask you to sign up to get the video, to get access. And the reason mainly for that is I have some important information about the technique to email you. I don't want you just to launch in and do it without reading the cautions and the things to consider, because everybody's different, as I've said before. You could be older with deteriorated muscles, you could be younger with strong, healthy muscles, and everyone's going to be a bit different. So it's important just to run through some cautions with you, and you to consider that before you just jump in and do the exercises. But I will say this exercise has been amazing for so many people. It's really helped them, and I've had so many emails back telling me how incredible it is and how much relief they got instantly from this. So it's a great technique. It's easy to do at home. You do it laying on your back. It's not going to take a lot of your time or effort, and I always suggest you do it at night, so when you wake up in the morning you feel like your body's been invigorated and refreshed, and you should be getting out of bed a lot easier than you probably normally do with a back problem. So I recommend go and see that video. Try that exercise. I really think it'll help you. I've got lots more great little tips and exercises that I'll cover in other video reviews, and I will look for another video on lower back pain that just covers the other areas that Jeff hasn't covered, because I think they're just as important. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this are suffering from, say, that area of the lumbar region where it's all stiff and tight, one side of your back more than or the other, and even where it starts to creep down into your hips and perhaps affecting your legs, where it brings in the discs and nerves. Hello, I just wanted to break in and tell you something really special. Now, the link I gave you to work on your erector spinae muscles. They're the muscles that erect your spine and keep you standing upright, and they're really important for keeping your back pain away, keeping your energy up, and just generally feeling no neck tension, shoulder tension, and just feeling really good. The video I've directed you to shows you how to do a great technique to work on those muscles and really invigorate them. It takes away back pain, stiffness. It can even relieve sciatica, helps you with neck pain, shoulder pain, headaches, all those sort of things. It's a really great technique. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about a way you can do that if you're feeling a little bit more like myself and you don't want to put the effort in on the floor doing that exercise. The solution is getting a massage chair. Now you've probably seen these in the shopping centre. You sit back in them, you relax, and they work up and down your back, and they do all sorts of different techniques, and they achieve the same sort of result, where they loosen your erector spinae muscles, help stimulate your energy, take pressure off your lower back, can even relieve sciatica. Now these chairs are fantastic, and they're not for everybody because they're not cheap. But I have arranged a special deal with a fantastic company in Australia called Cardiotech, who sell a really good quality massage chair. I know because I bought one some years ago, and I've been using it at least 3 or 4 times a week since. My wife uses it, now my kids use it. It's just a great way at the end of a day, especially if you're standing on your feet all day like I am, to just let go and release all that tension that builds up on your back. And it's the sort of thing that everybody should be doing every day. Now whether you lie down on the floor and do the technique I show you, or whether you want the easy option in sitting in a massage chair in comfort and doing it that way, is totally up to you. But for those of you who want that easy option, these chairs are brilliant. They do vibration, tapping, they invigorate that whole back area, and they really make you feel great. Now I spend about half an hour in one at least 3 times a week, and the company that I got mine from is an absolutely fantastic company. It's a family-owned business. They have a number of quality products in the fitness industry. I even have their vibration machine, I have their running machine, and the thing I like most about the company is their products are really top quality. They don't skimp, they put good motors in them, all the parts of them are quality, and when something, or if something does go wrong, their service is second to none. They have vans on the road that come to your house, fix the products, and they do a great job. They're always happy to hear from you, they're always got a smile, their servicemen are brilliant, and I just can't say enough good things about Cardiotech. So what I'm suggesting you do is have a look at the Cardiotech website. The address is on the screen right now, and if you'd like the easy option for doing this work on your erector spinae muscles, perhaps you'd like to try my technique first, which won't cost you anything but a bit of your time. But if you find that that helps you, and it really is something that you need to do regularly, give some thought about getting the massage chair that'll do it for you. And all you have to do is put your head back, recline the chair, and let it go to work. Now, as I say, this is something that you probably need to think about doing all through your life. You never stop building tension and tightening up your spine. Just sitting all day, standing all day, anything you do will cause your back to get stiff and tight. Now, even if you're not a chronic back pain sufferer who suffers every day, and you're here because back pain has just crept into your life, it might come and it might go. But the best way to make sure it doesn't turn up and to keep it away for good is to constantly rehabilitate and energize those erector spinae muscles using something like a massage chair or the technique that I showed you. Now, I have organised a special deal for you. If you go to Cardiotech and you like what you see and you decide to get one, and you can pay for this on a weekly basis, and it's really a small amount, but it makes it so that you don't have to pay one lump sum. You can just pay it off very slowly over a few years. And that few years your chair will be under warranty. You'll always have the service people available if you have any problems whatsoever. But if you go to Cardiotech and you like what you see and you want to get a chair, make sure you say you want the special deal that Steve Lockhart has organised for you. Because even though they offer a great deal already, you'll get an even better deal by mentioning my name when you're buying. So have a good look at it. It's just something that I use very regularly, and I just wanted to pass on to you. It goes hand in hand with the technique that I showed you on that website. So I hope you like it, and don't forget, grab the great deal if you go. Thank you. If you can afford a massage chair, it will be the best present you can ever buy yourself or your family. But if you can't, then my self-treatment technique is a must-do a few times a week, every week. Removing the tension around your spine is your first defense against tension in your neck and shoulders and a tilted or rotated pelvis, a common problem that affects many people as they age.